One of the many complaints of Boruto's manga was the fact that Boruto didn't have many one-on-one fights, mostly since he was always paired with his teammates or Momoshiki ended up taking over at some point. So it seems like Kishimoto heard the cries of Boruto fans and decided to open up the time skip with back-to-back fights of Boruto just dominating his opponents, for the most part. Now while all of these fights were great and enjoyable, there's always going to be the top dog or the best of the best. That is why in today's video I'll be ranking the top 5 fights in Boruto TbV Vortex thus far. So starting with number 5, we have Boruto versus the Cloud Rhymes. Now this one was more so just a display of Boruto's mastery in Kenjutsu, as it shows him pretty much easily destroying Code's army using his sword. This started after Boruto arrived on the battlefield stomping on Code's face, likely using Flying Thunder God. He then calmly analyzed his surrounding and then easily dispatched the Cloud Rhymes as they moved towards him individually. Now seeing that this isn't working, they all tried to swarm him at the same time, but that also didn't work since Boruto was able to cut them down all at once. So the fight itself was cool and served its purpose, but it isn't topping anything else on the list. Now at number 4 we have Boruto versus Kawaki. Now this might seem surprising since these are the two mainest of main characters in the entire series, but while the fight itself was good, if you can even call it a fight, it doesn't really hold up to the rest of them. Now that's mainly because this fight only served to confirm what we knew before, which is that Boruto is currently stronger than Kawaki. We first saw this when Kawaki tried to attack him using the rods he's able to spawn using Ishiki's dojutsu, but Boruto was able to dodge it pretty easily. Not just once, but twice at almost point blank range. Now the reason why this feat is impressive is because these are Ishiki's high speed rods that Sasuke was barely able to perceive using his Sharingan. So Boruto being able to perceive and dodge them without any ocular powers and one eye being closed is pretty insane. Even so, I want to point out the obvious fact that the speed of the rods may differ depending on the person who's using it and which form they're in. That's why you had cases of even Naruto and Sasuke being able to dodge them at one point versus Jigen, and then Daemon doing the same thing versus Kawaki in chapter 54. You even had Momoshiki dodging these rods in part 1, which further supports the idea. So unless you believe that part 1 Momoshiki was Ishiki or Barin mode Naruto level, the rods clearly vary in speed based on the output of the user, which means Ishiki's abilities are amped to a greater degree. And chakra is always amped a person's dojutsu abilities, so this isn't anything new. By the way, Kawaki only had 80% of Ishiki's data extracted before the Karma Seal was removed from his body, and the new Karma Seal he received only consisted of Akebi's human data, not Ishiki's. So despite Code assuming that Kawaki was full Otsutsuki due to his usage of Ishiki's abilities, that was more so a byproduct of the weaponized Karma Seal as confirmed by Amado. So Kawaki not having Ishiki's full data further supports him not having his full power. And no, Kawaki having Ishiki's full dojutsu doesn't contradict this, since the dojutsu is merely just a part of Ishiki's overall genetic makeup, which means that the full eye can be extracted without the entire process being done. Anyway, the fight itself proceeded with Kawaki charging at Boruto only to get sunned and knocked back with a single punch to his stomach, which looked pretty painful. So as you can see, not a lot happened in the fight itself, since it was mainly just to supplement the narrative around Boruto being stronger, and also to introduce the issue of Boruto not being able to control his Karma Seal. Now at number 3 we have Boruto versus the Shinju. So this fight is also not very long, but a lot more happened and it was a bit more exciting, to me at least. Mostly due to the fact that Boruto actually got challenged and was forced to use his abilities. So the fight itself began after the bug Shinju flew into Boruto and slammed him into the wall behind him. Boruto then used what appears to be a variant of Shidori Stream in retaliation, but even though the Shinju did take some damage based on the scratches shown, he was able to shrug it off pretty quickly and try to launch another attack moments later. Boruto then escaped using Flying Thunder God, as indicated by the Shinju referring to his jutsu as tricky. By the way, just this interaction by itself proves that the bug Shinju would absolutely destroy Kawaki. Him being able to ram into Boruto before he could dodge, as opposed to how Boruto dodged all of Kawaki's attacks, proves that he's at least faster than Kawaki. You could even make the case for durability, since he also tanked Boruto's lightning style while Kawaki got downed by a minor punch. Though I guess this depends on if you think the punch had more might behind it than the lightning infused technique, which is possible. There's also a point when Boruto actually looked worried and had to use Flying Raijin to escape Bug's technique, which likely means that he would have taken damage, or at least he couldn't physically dodge it. So yeah, Bug Shinju is at least relative to base Boruto. Now this then moved into the Sasuke Shinju, also known as Hidari, trying to decapitate Boruto after teleporting using Code's claw marks. Boruto was able to easily dodge this of course, but the Shinju immediately followed up with Sasuke's Chidori, which Boruto negated using his own Rasengan. Boruto is then subsequently attacked by the Bug Shinju, but he was able to react and defend against it using his sword. Now the Matsuri Shinju also chimed in as well using the Earth Release technique she stole from Oegi, which was actually able to catch Boruto. So Boruto, after realizing that he can't defeat these guys, left the scene using Flying Thunder God. What this means is that these guys scale above Kawaki but relative to base Boruto, especially given the feats of Bug and the Sasuke Shinju being able to negate his Rasengan. Now at number 2 we have Boruto versus Code. Now this one is a bit tricky since it also wasn't that long, so you might be wondering why I ranked it so high despite ranking the others lower for that same reason. Well, that's more so due to the abilities used and the narrative implications that came from it. You see, the fight itself started off with Code saying that Boruto is bluffing about being able to take him down easily, and that's because Boruto ran away 2 years ago without being able to do anything. So this implied that Boruto is below Code, which makes sense since he scaled below him pre-Timeskip. So going into this fight, you actually had no idea what to expect, or you thought Boruto was actually bluffing. That's mainly why what happened next was so surprising. You see, the actual fight itself began when Boruto activated a new Rasengan called Rasengan Uzuhiko and started to walk slowly towards his opponent. Code then tried to attack him from behind using his claw marks, but Boruto was able to easily dodge the attack without even looking at him. He then tried to launch a counter attack with his Rasengan, but Code was able to catch his hand before he could land the hit. Code then tried to land another strike using his claws, but Boruto was once again fast enough to block it and strong enough to hold it off. Mind you, both of these characters are still in base at this point in time. So the best and most honest interpretation you could come away with is that they're relative in base, or Boruto is at least a slight bit stronger. Now Code did later activate his Karma Seal, but there's no way to truly gauge whether Boruto is stronger than Code amped by his Karma Seal based on what happens next. You see, as I mentioned before, Boruto invented a new Rasengan called Rasengan Uzuhiko, which seems to be depicted by the swirls around Boruto's body. These swirls then transferred to Code while he was holding on to Boruto's hand, which prompted Boruto to say, "I told you, killing you is easy. In fact, I'm already halfway there." This is then immediately followed by Code not being able to land a hit on Boruto. He just kept missing the target every time he tried to attack him for some reason. This then prompted Code to question the type of movement itself, saying that it's not on the level of dodging, it's not genjutsu or cloning either. That is then followed by Boruto instantly appearing behind Code and slamming him using the full force of Rasengan Uzuhiko. Now the ability itself hasn't been fully explained in the manga as yet, but Boruto said that it's a strike back from the chakra of the planet Code tried to destroy, a Rasengan that absorbed the planet's rotation. So the power coursing through Code's body will never disappear, just like a planet doesn't stop its rotation. Well, unless Boruto rescinds it, of course. So Code's vision is now distorted and he's pretty much experiencing vertigo due to the ability, which is shown by him tumbling over. Damon even confirmed the nature of the ability itself by comparing it to planetary spin, which is an actual scientific term. Now this could have also been responsible for why Code wasn't able to touch Boruto before, since planetary spin is able to induce a thing called the Coriolis effect. This is referred to as the pattern of deflection taken by objects not firmly connected to the ground while traveling. Now I'm not going to go in depth on this since there's already a video for that, so if you want to learn more, I suggest watching that video after this one. By the way, over 85% of you guys are not subscribed to the channel, so if you guys are enjoying the content and you guys want to see more videos, go ahead and subscribe and also drop a like on the video to help me out in the algorithm. With that said, let's get back on topic. Now the main point I'm trying to make is that it is possible that Code wasn't able to land a hit on Boruto due to the effect of his technique, or maybe Boruto was just spamming Flying Raijin. So it isn't necessarily indicative of who is stronger or faster. With that said, what I think undeniably proves that base Boruto is indeed faster than Karma amped Code is the panel where he landed the Rasengan. Now this was fairly obvious to me since Code wasn't caught off guard. He legit got speed blitz since he definitely saw Boruto behind him before Boruto even motioned to land the hit with the Rasengan. So if he was indeed faster than Boruto, he would have been able to dodge it similar to how Madara was able to dodge Tobirama after he spawned using Flying Thunder God. That's because even though the teleportation aspect itself is indeed instantaneous, you would still need regular movement speed to land your hits after you spawn. So Code not being able to react simply means that he scales below Boruto in speed. Now at number 1 we have Boruto versus Sage Mitsuki. Now this fight is one of the most anticipated fights in Boruto, both in universe and out. This has been teased at so many points in the manga and anime, so when it finally happened and Mitsuki got absolutely destroyed by Boruto, a lot of Mitsuki fans were disappointed. Even still, the fight itself is amazing, mostly because it received the most screen time. With that said, the fight itself began in chapter 6 when Mitsuki tried to attack Boruto from behind by wrapping his snake around him. Though just before the snake could actually attack him, Boruto used his immaculate hip thrusting prowess to launch his sword into the air, then teleported towards it using flying Raijin. This interaction by itself proved that Boruto is faster than the attack speed of Mitsuki's snakes, and also that Boruto is actually quite skilled in how he employs Flying Thunder God. Now the fight didn't end there since Mitsuki tried to attack Boruto with his Sage Amphithereal snakes once again, but Boruto wasn't fazed by this since he was able to easily cut through them by amping his sword using purple lightning. Mitsuki then tried another snake attack once again called Striking Shadow Snake Attack, which resulted in massive snakes erupting from beneath the earth's surface. This then prompts Boruto to escape using his ability to fly, which he inherited from Momoshiki's Otsutsuki genetics. He then left the scene since he wasn't really interested in fighting Mitsuki, but Mitsuki wasn't having that and decided to follow him on foot. Now the second portion of this fight actually continued into chapter 7, which had Mitsuki charging at Boruto while deflecting his shurikens. Boruto then proceeded to effortlessly dodge Mitsuki's snakes once again, then teleported to the shuriken Mitsuki deflected before using Flying Raijin. Mitsuki then decided to let loose, as he himself stated, by first creating Sage snake clones and launching a barrage of attacks at Boruto, which he was able to evade of course, but he did manage to destroy the farce, so I guess that counts for something. Now Boruto then decided to stop playing around and easily blitzed and destroyed all of Mitsuki's Sage clones with a single slash from his lightning imbued sword. Mitsuki himself then tried to attack him using his snake lightning, but Boruto easily negated it using his own lightning bolt. This then caused a mass of smoke to fill the area, which Boruto used as a cover to end the fight by resting his sword by Mitsuki's neck. So as you can see, the fight itself was pretty amazing since you got to see Boruto employs lightning based techniques, Flying Thunder God in unique ways, and even Mitsuki using snake lightning, snake clones and his other snake based abilities. The fight also had a lot of impact on the surrounding, which added more weight to the power being used. All in all, Mitsuki didn't show out like we expected him to, but it was the best fight to follow while it was taking place. With that said, that's it for the video guys. Do you guys agree with my listing here about Mitsuki's fight being the best fight in Boruto 2 Blue Vortex so far? I do think it's a fight with Code. I did find that interesting and I was gonna bump it up a bit more, but if I was gonna bump something up, I think it would be the fight versus the Shinju, since that was really intriguing, I would say, and mostly because Boruto actually struggled, right? So that's just my opinion. Of course, you guys can disagree and let me know why in the comment section. Remember to like the video and subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out.